but we are going to go on the air. Okay, we missed our air. Oh no, we're good. We're
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was looking for you too, and I'm like, well, and so I sent an email. I'm like, I want to make sure we're on the right page.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't. I have a new assistant that's doing this part here, and um, she did not pass on the information. So hold on just a second. I'm going to
Yes.
put you in the back room, and I got to go through this little thing here real quick. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Rich Wallace, and you are here on a late episode starting about 8-10 minutes behind time, but I do thank you for coming. This is an episode of Strictly Business. We're supposed to be on the air on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning at 7 a.m. But we have a few glitches this morning, and they call that technology. We're going to blame it on them instead of the people. So that's how we're going to do that. But we're going to get started this morning. We have a lot to cover. We want to be able to get you our guest on and to talk about some of the things that we have over here at the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, from the desert to the sea. So once again, my name is Rich Wallace. I appreciate everybody coming in and finding us this morning here on an episode of Strictly Business. And I have a Miss Mel Jackson, which is our guest for today. And I did not read her information. So we're going to bring her in and we're going to let her tell us what's really, really going on. Welcome, Miss Jackson, to an episode of Confusion Strictly Business on this Thursday morning. How
Good
are you today,
morning.
ma'am?
I am good. I am good.
As you can see, we make everything all right no matter what happens. We're going to do
Yes,
what we do.
that's the thing. I always say, as long as God doesn't, it never stops being good. Every day is a good day. So
That's
I'll
what I'm
take
saying.
it.
And I was just telling somebody yesterday, this is the day that the Lord has made, and all I got to do is just be glad in it.
I'm
So,
telling you, yes.
so Miss Jackson, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I am in the nonprofit sector. That's my day-to-day life. I am an executive director for a nonprofit. The nonprofit is the Josh Howard Foundation. Josh used to play for the Dallas Mavericks. I have been the executive director for the Josh Howard Foundation for the last 12 years. In addition to that, I'm also an executive nonprofit coach and the founder of Mel Inc., which is my brand name. On the nonprofit side, Mel Inc. advocates for domestic violence. And on the for profit side, I am a nonprofit coach because my desire is to be able to nurture, guide, and give some knowledge and understanding to nonprofits that are trying to get established or nonprofits that are established and kind of stuck and don't know which way to go. In addition to that, I am a published author. And so I literally just do what I love every day. I'm just so grateful to God that He's graced me and favored me to just wake up and just do the things that I enjoy doing.
Okay, so now the Josh Foundation, what is that actually? What does it do? What is that?
And so, with the Josh Howard Foundation, we do after school and summer meal programs for children in underprivileged communities. We partner with apartment complexes, churches, recreation centers, YMCAs. After school, we go in, we have drivers that we prepare the meals at our central kitchen, and we have drivers that take those meals and drop them off at all of the locations that we service in Dallas, Houston, and we also run it in North Carolina. And so we just focus on healthy meals and nutrition, making sure that kids are getting a full course healthy meal after school every day, as well as a good snack that meets all the nutritional values according to the USDA guidelines. And then in the summer, we do the same thing. We offer lunch, breakfast, and snacks to different sites depending on what their needs are.
All right, we're kind of here in the Southern California area, and we are the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, and we also have a charter school called Youth Bill.
Yes.
And so we have this school. We take in young people from 16 to 30 to get their high school diploma, and we're a full WASA accredited high school. So we're kind of in the same lane. And
Yes,
you're out of the Dallas Fort Worth area? Is that where
I
you're?
am. Yes.
Okay, so once again, we're following each other. I used to own the Grandy's. Are you familiar with Grandy's restaurants that used to
I
be there?
am. They have the
Yeah,
best biscuits.
yeah. I owned seven of
So
them.
gross.
I owned the one in Pleasant Run and the one over off of Polk and 57th Freeway,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I used to own three of them in Dallas and Fort Worth in the Arlington area,
Wow.
over in Arlington, and then over off of, I think that was Seminary and 35
Yes.
in Fort Worth. So
Yes.
I'm very familiar with the area there. Born and raised in Fort Worth.
Oh,
I am
wow.
a graduate, now living in Southern California, back and forth to Texas on a regular basis. So I I see you and I see what you're doing there, and uh, glad to have you here with us. Now, are you getting grants? Or are you trying to get grants? Or are you looking for sponsors? What is the nonprofit trying to seek to help get money? Because you got to eat.
Well, it just depends. So for like events and things that we do, basketball camps, Christmas events, backpack giveaways, things of that nature, then we do seek grants. We seek sponsorships, donations or whatever as it relates to those things. And we do partner with some other organizations in the area. When it comes to our meal program, we are on a fully reimbursable program through the state of Texas. So that allows us to be up and running in operation every day and to be able to employ people on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, so you have employees. So then you have a full
Yes.
kitchen there.
Yes, we have a full central kitchen. We have full staff of employees. I got a full staff of drivers, and I have a staff of employees that actually work the sites too. The only sites that I don't have to send employees in to work is with like my Recs and my YMCA's. I go in and train their staff, and their staff administer the meals because that's their job anyway. But any of the other sites that we have, we hire our own staff and they work for us there.
You just woke up with this idea one day and said, "I'm going to do this."
No, it didn't wake up with it one day. So what happened was, I've been doing some like nonprofit event coordinating and things like that. And a friend of mine that I did those things with had an ex NFL player who played for the Cowboys, and he was looking to do some type of meal program or something for his organization that he had, now that he's retired. And so a really good friend of mine, I kind of done some work with her doing the meal program before, and so I went to her and I'm like, I inquired about the program, and she was like, you know what, because of your heart for service, I'm going to teach you what you need to know to be able to run and administer your own program. And so she carried us as a sponsor for that year that I partnered with him. And then I gained the knowledge under my belt, and I've been doing this for 12 years.
Oh, okay, yeah, isn't that something? That is
Favor. It
something.
just I just fell into it.
Yeah, and that's how God works. It's not our plan, it's his plan. And if we just follow the steps, we'll
Yes.
get to where we're trying to go. And sometimes, especially in the nonprofit arena, you think about, well, how am I going to make money? How am I going to get paid?
Yes.
Because I still got light, gas, and water and all that old kind of stuff that needs to be taken care of. And if you just walk in it, it just kind of shows up, and you go, "Oh man, okay, that's faith." I
Yeah.
didn't know that check was coming, but
Yeah.
yeah, now that it's here, let me take care of some things that I need to do. So, okay.
Absolutely. And
Now, do you
and
have?
the well,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Well, the
No,
amazing thing I was going to say was, God is just really good because I got into really being able to do the charity at the level that I do, just being up one night. And a friend of mine, he used to do these celebrity basketball games, and he was looking for someone to help him with them. And he had sent a tweet out. And he said, I'm looking for somebody to help me. I didn't know what he needed. I didn't know what he had going on, but I tweeted him back and said, what do you need? And so years later, he told me, he said there were a few other people that reached out to him inquiring about that same opportunity. And those other people actually had been in the event industry, where I had not, and I had no experience. He said, but I just felt led to go with you. And it opened the door that I'm still operating in right now. So that I'm grateful for. Just my heart to serve opened the door for me that has been, it's grown me from one area
well,
to
yeah,
another.
yeah, and the it's it's you you mentioned God and some things that do, and it's almost like church business. There's the reward comes from within. There's nobody out there clapping for you and rooting, and it's kind of like. At the end of the day, the preacher thanks everybody that didn't do anything, and the people that did all the work. It's like, okay, wait a minute,
Yes.
my name didn't get mentioned, and I did
Yes.
everything. Yeah, Sister Sarah
Right.
didn't do nothing, and they clapping and standing for. So
Yes.
showing up at the event is one thing, but creating the event and making it happen on a regular basis is just something else. And you do this every day.
Every
So
day,
so your
Monday
crew
through
comes in at night
Friday.
and
Sometimes
cooks.
they cook, they're cooking right now. So when I'm
Okay.
done interviewing with you, I'll head over. I used to just work from home a lot, but now I actually have an office in our kitchen. And so I'm there every day. They're there every morning. They show up, they cook the food. It's hot. We package it. We have pack and seal machines that we package the food up. We put it in containers and like canisters and cambros and things like that that will hold it, warming bags and things of that such that'll hold it hot while we transport it to the location. We've been really blessed because all of the apartments that we work with, they give us a designated area to be able to do the service the kids so that we can do tutoring and educational enrichment activities and different things with the kids as well. So it's more than just the meals. The meals is just a big part of helping combat childhood obesity, and making sure that these kids are eating quality meals every day.
Okay, because the fast food thing is it's tough. We have a charter school here in San Bernardino, California, and our kitchen has not been approved to feed the kids yet. So
Yes.
they have a something similar to you for our program where they
Hmm.
would send food, but the
Hmm.
food they send. I deal with at-risk kids. They go, "This jailhouse food, Mr. Wallace. We're not eating this." So uh,
I know that so well.
yeah, they don't like it. It's cold. It's not wrapped right. I mean, and it's because they're distributing it to a whole bunch of schools. And by the time they get to me, I'm on the end of LA, Los Angeles area. By the time they get out here, the food is either cold, it hasn't been kept warm, it's hard, or whatever the case may be. So we decided that we would just go out and buy food, breakfast for the young people, and then go buy lunch. But we're hitting the fast food spots. So
Yes.
I'm now giving them unhealthy McDonald's sausage or whatever it is, uh, and we're saying, okay, we got to do nutritional kind of thing, get back into that. Because my young people, I give them a dozen donuts and then they bouncing off the wall come 9:30
Yes.
o'clock. Uh,
Yes.
okay, we got to change the way we do this. So, in building what you're doing, did you start doing something one way and go, okay, this is not working out? Let me have to switch up. Are you able to pivot to make other things work?
Yes.
That
I mean, the kids are very, very vocal, so I understand what you say, what you mean when you they are very vocal, and if it's something that they don't like, they are going to let us know. And so what I've learned over the years is if I get enough complaints from the kids, if it's the masses of the majority of my kids, 60% of my kids, I have something on the menu that they don't like, then I pull it from the menu and I try to add something else that they may be a little more welcoming to. And so I've had to do that. I've had to adjust. We've always done hot food, just because I'm a country girl. I'm from Beaumont, Texas, and so being from the South like that, I like hot food. So I've only been a fan of doing like the sandwiches and the cold cuts and stuff like that, maybe on a Friday, because a lot of times on Fridays, especially with the after school program, you may have some kids that got picked up early and so they don't come that day, or kids kind of they're having different things going on. So sandwiches are kind of easier to do on Fridays. But for the most part, we do hot food every day. I sit every month and I create a menu. I send those menus out to our site so that the kids can have a visual of that menu. And I make it fun. I put all these shapes and colors and different things on it just to get them involved and to keep them interested in what's coming, for them. And it's hot food every day.
so now in dealing with the apartment complexes, you just went to the apartment manager and you go, hey, we want to come in here and we want to have a lunch program for the young people. Or you just do that on Saturdays, or that's a weekly thing as well. Is that a
That's a
daily?
weekly thing as well. So, and what happened is a few of the apartments I've went to, but really the apartments that we have, they've all come through word of mouth. Most of my staff that work for me have worked for me for a long time. They really enjoy working for us. And I tell people all the time that we keep people employed because of the experience. People come back to what makes them feel good. And so every summer I have students that are in college and they come back and I hire them back every summer, not just so that they can be employed, but because I understand that not only that, when you work for a 501c3 and you have student loans, and they can get forgiven. So I am trying to help set them up for success in every way I can, with writing recommendation letters, giving them guidance and resources on how to get loans forgiven so they're not in loan debt forever, just different things. And they're making money at the same time. And so a lot of my sites now come through word of mouth. I had someone that handed me 3 YMCA's this past summer, and each one of them was 100+ kids a day feeding. So that was really a blessing. She had been servicing them for 12 years, and she called me and she said, I've been trying to find someone to take them because I'm stepping away. And I feel like you are somebody that I'd like to entrust them to, because I feel like you will serve them with the same capacity and compassion that I've had. And so we took them on and they really enjoyed it. And it's funny because they were getting cold food. And
Yes.
then when I started giving them hot food, they were like, oh, our kids love it. I'm like, I can't. They suggested the cold, and I'm like, I can't do that because my kids are absolutely not going to go for it. So,
Right, right,
hey,
right.
yeah, yeah,
So now, what is it that you could use that we may be able to help you with here? Um, I'm in Southern California. I'm back and forth in Dallas and Fort Worth all the
yes,
time. That's my home. So I'm there. My family is there. I've got a couple of kids that live there. And like I said, I used to own the Grandies, most of the Grandies. I own 7 of them down there in that area. And when you say you got the YMCA's and now you're feeding 100 more kids, did they come with funding to do that, or you?
it doesn't come with funding. So what happens is we get reimbursed for the meals on the back end, but like when I add those sites, we have to just add them into our budget and be able to support those sites
Until
until
you get.
we get reimbursed for them. Yes.
Okay. Now, what is it that that you would need? Uh, I work with a lot of corporations
Yes.
in Dallas as well as out here, back and forth. Food companies, I can't think of the name of them, that used to provide the food for the Grandies, and they closed all the Grandies. And Soup and Salad Plantation bought them, and then they wind up closing.
Yes.
So that was a big nightmare for me. I had 7 stores, and all of a sudden, hey, we're not doing this anymore. What? So we had to rebrand ourselves into some other things. But I've always done the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce. I just travel back and forth because I I love Fort Worth, but I have a house there, but I don't live there. You know,
Yes.
weather changes. Start getting cold and start getting hot. Let me get on a plane, get up out of here. So it's a great thing to be a part of. But I'd like to see how we could help you and what we could do for your nonprofit. Now you have 2 nonprofits and one for profit.
I do. Yes, I do. The Josh Howard Foundation is the one that I am actively operating all day, every day. It never stops. With Mel Inc., because it's domestic violence, it's more a resource based, or, um, you know, partnerships, events, and different things like that, sponsoring or helping get sponsorships when we do like Christmas backpack drives and things of that nature. And then as far as my for profit, I just recently started coaching because I felt like a lot of nonprofits start because it's one of the least expensive businesses that you can start with the Secretary of State. So a lot of people go that route because they genuinely, a lot of them, 90% of the people that look into nonprofit, they want to help people, especially when you come from an ethnic background for sure. But the problem becomes they don't have the knowledge of how to get resources, how to really set it up properly. And they've been sold this dream about how nonprofits work. And so it's a struggle in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't understand that going in, then you get discouraged. And so I am dedicating myself to helping people understand that on the front end so that they can build the resource and sustain it for the longevity, and not put a resource in this community, but now it's not there. And now these people are looking for resources again. And so that's my thing.
Yeah, because people will get started, but like you said, they don't have the real knowledge of
Yes,
how a nonprofit works and how to get funding. And the nonprofit doesn't mean that you can't make money. It just means you got to tell them what you're doing with it. So,
absolutely. Yes,
AAA is a nonprofit organization. Most hospitals are nonprofit, but they make a lot of funds and a lot of things go through there.
yes,
So, um, now that the IA and the internet is changing things, grant writers are almost like grocery tellers, grocery checkers, uh, because people are now going and getting these IA information and writing their own grants. But managing the money is another process that has
yes,
nothing to do with the cooking and the this and the that and all of the behind the scenes things. I know when I had one Grandy's, I started out with the one in seminary on Fort Worth, and then I bought the one in Arlington, and then I had one over in Dallas. And after having seven of them, it was a different money management situation that I had to go through.
yes,
So is
yes,
that what you teach these people? Okay, if you get a grant, you got to know how to manage them. If you've never had $1 million, and then
yes,
somebody gives you $1 million grant to do certain things with, you don't go buy a new car.
yes, absolutely.
You have to know how to manage that money. Is that part of the thing that you do? Is teaching them how to manage funding?
Yes. So on the back end, if I have coaching clients that have received grants, or and I've started dibbling and dabbling into learning how to write them. I actually wrote one for us that we got approved for, and it was my first time. The Holy Ghost wrote it, not me.
Yay!
The Holy Ghost wrote it. I'm telling you, it had nothing to do with me. I sat down, and a lot of times when you're looking for a grant writer, it's like pulling a needle out of a haystack because people just, and now I understand why, because it's a tedious process. And so I understand why it's hard to get people to really commit to writing grants for you, or it's kind of like this back and forth a lot of times. So I said, Lord, somebody came to me with this grant from one of the organizations where I sit on the leadership council for the feeding program that we do. And they said, I think this would be great for you guys. And they said, you should apply. And I'm like, okay, who am I going to get to write this grant? And I said, well, God, if you gave it to me, now you've got to be able to navigate me through it. And I sat down and I wrote it myself. And they gave us what we asked, and it was actually over what they were actually awarding. And so, while I'm still being polished on that part, I do know I have a lot of knowledge as far as like the annual reports and things like that. And so that is a service that I'm going to offer to my coaching clients. If they need that service, we will be available to help walk them through how to make those reports and things like that.
Yeah. Well, that is absolutely fantastic. I love that. Trying to figure out how we can maneuver to be able to come over and work the food line or something. Make sure that we're a part of what you're doing. And I am familiar with the Black Chamber of Commerce in Dallas and the one over in Fort Worth. From time to time, I tend to, when I'm in town, visit and stop by. We're also a member of the Congressional Caucus in Washington D.C. So we're trying to get a lot of bills passed and things that are in the community to get done. We have a bill now, and because the White House and everybody's fighting and stuff, the stuff that really needs to get done kind of gets bypassed because
Yes.
we're too busy pointing fingers at each other or them. So we have a situation where we're trying to Section 8 commercial buildings across
Oh,
the
wow.
country so that a small business can, because we have so many empty buildings in every city
Yes.
and they're being vandalized. The homeless, God bless them, or destroying certain things. The drug environment is attracting these people to these empty properties, and the property owners are just sitting there eating the fines that the city gives them, or whatever the case may be. And so we're trying to come up with something to fill brick and mortar buildings because Amazon and all these other delivery companies are telling you people don't go nowhere, just stay home.
Yes,
you know
they are. Yeah.
you got all of the streaming platforms on your TV. You got you don't have to cook anymore. You can order one hamburger and have it delivered.
Yes,
So yeah, we're trying to, okay, you need to get back out and you need to do some things and you need to be able to touch people. So we're working on some projects like that in those areas that
that's amazing.
so that we can get the brick and mortars fill back up across the country. Because if we don't do, downtowns died, uh, Fort Worth, I noticed the last time I was there, downtown is kind of flourishing back up a little bit. Dallas is
Yeah,
kind of doing some things downtown, which means that everybody was running to the suburbs with the malls. Now the malls are dying.
yeah, yep, they are.
So it's a never-ending circle. But where you are, the arena that you're in, and feeding people and taking care of the folks that need to be taken care of, and then uplifting folks. I'm from down where you are, like you say. I'm from the country, but when I grew up, we all of us lived in the same neighborhood.
Yes,
So the teachers lived in the neighborhood, the doctors lived in the neighborhood, and then in the late '60s, when integration and all of that stuff was going on, the people that could afford to move out moved out.
yes,
So that left the neighborhood kind of, and now different cultures are now moving into those neighborhoods, which actually was prime property. And we didn't realize it, but it was pretty much prime property. So, and you are in Louisville, or you in
yes.
Dallas? You in
So
Lewis?
our the kitchen is in Louisville, but we feed all over the Metroplex. One of the YMCA's that I was graced with being able to feed this summer was the downtown Fort Worth location.
Okay.
I did the Benbrook location in Fort Worth,
Yeah.
and I did the South Cooper location in Arlington. And so
Those are
that
my
was fun.
spots.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I knew, I knew you'd be able to relate to those. So those were the ones that the other organization handed to me. We have sites in Arlington, Grand Prairie. We do Garland, McKinney. I mean, we're literally all over the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex.
That is absolutely fantastic. And I'm so interested in how you started. I mean, you just started.
I just
And,
started.
and,
He just sat
and
me in the middle of it. I used to do hair by trade, and so it was a good thing. And I worked in corporate America. I went to school for accounting, so I'd taken some accounting jobs and different things like that.
yeah.
I didn't like it. I absolutely did not like it. It did not it didn't work well with my personality. I'm chipper, outgoing. I'm like, oh, this is too much. But it's good to have the knowledge. And I my last job in corporate America, I remember working that job, and it was a temp job, and they were gonna hire me permanently. And I remember waking up that morning, and I heard God tell me to quit the job. And I had just started like my nonprofit, and I'm like, I've lost my mind. You start a
Uh,
nonprofit, and I can't be hearing this correctly. Well, I ended up, they were supposed to give me a permanent position, and they ended up telling me that the budget didn't open up like they thought. And so it was God, because clearly by the end of the day, I was informed that I was not going to have the job. And so I started looking for another job, and I would pray, and I do hair from sun up to sundown, because that was God's means of providing for me so that I could sustain and pay my bills and different things like that. And so every time I would look for a job, I'm like, I know I'm qualified, and it wasn't working.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
now I know why, because I may have gotten stuck in something that would have never fulfilled the plan and the purpose he had for me. And so while it didn't seem like it was working in my natural eye, it was working in the backgrounds, because he's far wiser than I am. And he knew that this is where my heart is. I enjoy helping people. I literally love being able to bless people. I do. It's the most precious thing God could have ever given me. I didn't grow up with a whole lot, but they made sure I had everything that I needed. And my grandmother raised me, and she always taught me to give to other people. She would have me go in our cabinet and give our neighbor like all the canned goods, because she had a lot of children, whereas they only had me for a substantial amount of time when I was growing up. And so she taught me how to serve at an early age, and I enjoyed it. I used to go to work with her, and help her do her job. And so service is something that really makes my heart thump.
Yeah, I can see that you enjoy going to your office every day,
I
getting
I
things going.
actually do,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I really do. I enjoy my staff. There's something else,
yeah,
but I think they enjoy having me there every day.
yeah, yeah. Now, you never thought, since you do hair and you were experienced at it, and your hair looks great,
Thank
uh,
you.
you never thought of opening a beauty shop,
I did.
cosmetology? Yeah,
I
yeah.
did, and I have friends that are in the hair business now. I owned a hair company for some time, and I still will purchase hair. I still have clients that will order hair and stuff from me. Me and my business partner, we owned a hair company for a few years, and so I dibble and dabble in it that way.
Okay.
But back to school, when we're helping, kids get their hair done and stuff like that, that's how I can still give back from that. Now, I don't do it anymore, but I can
Right.
still give back being a resource to donate different items and stuff like that. And then I have the knowledge of that world, or pulling on stylists and different people that I know to help barbers. So I give back in from that life in that way.
Well, it seems like all of the pieces in your journey led you to this spot, and all of the accounting and the corporate world, all of that fits into what you're doing now to make this all run smooth. So
It
God
does.
is awesome in the training area, and we don't know that we're being trained
Yes.
for a specific job or specific duty, because all of those pieces from the accounting part on the back door of your business, I know you got to, food waste and food counting and,
Yes.
sandwich bags and all of
Yeah.
these kinds of things that come into little things that people don't talk about,
Yes.
toothpicks, when I own restaurants, I'm like, don't throw those napkins away.
I'm telling you.
So it's all of those different pieces got you ready for what you're doing now to make it run so smooth. And it's amazing
Thank
how
you.
God works with people and yourself to be able to put all of those things that inside of you that, okay, this is boring. I don't want to do this anymore. But you were there just to be able to make sure that when you got here, you
Yes.
knew what you were doing.
Yes.
So isn't that, that's an awesome training facility that you went through, and now you're passing it on to someone else. Now, do you have
I am.
family that work in the business with you?
I do. I have family members, cousins that are in college that'll come work for me in the summer. My daughters work for me in the summer. I have cousins. When people have needed jobs, I am
You're the person.
notorious for it. I'm telling you. And the thing about it is, it brings me joy to be able to be that person. And I'm the person that I even understand if this is just a transitional place
Right.
for you,
I'm not mad
because
if you
we
go
are
to get
still a
another job.
non. I am not, because we are still a nonprofit, and so I never want to hold people back from what they desire, because I'm in the business of pushing people to be and to accomplish their dreams. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's what nonprofit is about, is being able to be a resource to help people get to the place that they foresee being, and helping them keep that image in front of them. And so I would do my staff a disservice if I was selfish and tried to keep them
Keep them,
confined
yeah.
to, even though I need them. Whenever people have left, as long as they didn't do something crazy, I'm always here if you ever need to come back, and I have something open and available. So I don't wear that on my sleeves, because I understand that we don't control God's move. God controls his move. And so I'm not going to get into being the kind of person that feels like I have some type of control over somebody else's destiny. What he gave me, the gift of being able to stand behind people and encourage and push them into their destiny, and to be able to assist him with getting them where they're supposed to go. So I'm always okay with that. So yes, I am the go-to person
That
when
was that.
someone needs
But
work. Yes.
when I had my stores, all the family, they passed through. Hey, Unc, I need a job. I
Yes.
need this. Okay, all right, we'll find something for you somewhere. Let's get
Yeah.
it to go. Yeah.
And even
So now,
Josh's family too. Same thing. If he has people that need work, he's the head coach of UNT Dallas men's basketball, and so whenever we do things, they come out and he has them serve, and they volunteer. They always show up at any event we have. We do a big event at the Christmas time with Andre Emmett's foundation. He was the basketball player that was murdered over in West Dallas, and so we've been doing that event for 5 years, where we give hundreds of bicycles and toys and coats and gloves and bicycle helmets. And this year we did scooters, and we bring Santa out and all these different things to the community to bless children who have lost a parent to either the jail or prison system, or to some type of untimely, passing. And so we have fun, and then we do the back to school. So we keep our hands in a lot of things. And so when you say, how can you guys help us. Well, the things that I'm not allowed to use my reimbursable funds for, those are the things that people can help with. Donations, we always are open to taking donations for food because that expands our reach of being able to have more than enough. So that if something comes up and we do need to feed the homeless, then we have those other resources to do that kind of stuff as well.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we can definitely tap into some of that. I'd like to come down. I'll stay in touch with you, and I'd like to come down to some of your events and just kind of help out and be an extra set of hands to participate. Now, I run two nonprofits. The
Yes.
chamber is a 501c6. Our school is a 501c3.
Yes.
We only deal with at-risk people. A
Yes.
lot of the situations, most of my folks are volunteers because we don't have the situation where we have to have salaries. So, and I'm not doing as much as you are, but I'm also curious in the I see the happy days. And you mentioned something. Well, if they don't do something crazy when they leave, and
Yes.
I get a lot of something crazy on the way out the door, or
Yes.
a lot of haters or whatever that is. How do you deal with the day-to-day things that don't go the way you're supposed to go, or the people? And I'm in the people business, and I'm pretty much in the black people business. So uh, we get stepped on sometimes by our
Yes.
folks, the black and brown people, as they say. But what we try to do is and you hear this all the time in our community. Well, I don't do business with black people. I don't,
Yes, I
you
do.
and I'm like, okay, how is that when they get your order wrong in the Chinese food store all the time, and
Yes.
you go back? How do you get past? This is what told me because, for lack of a better term, the enemy or the opposition is going to always give you something that, you know what, I'm going to mess up your day. And I love the way you came on in the beginning because that's how I began my day. You're
Yes.
not going to ruin my day. God gave me this day. I'm going to be as happy as I can in it. Now, you can check on me tomorrow, but God gave me the day today. So,
Yes.
how are you dealing with the things that just, it's like I told them 1,000 times and they still over here throwing my name under, saying we're not feeding the people, saying the food ain't this good, saying that my truck ain't this way, my driver was this way. And how do you deal with that? Because you seem to be the top, as they say.
Yes.
You the HNIC here.
I am.
If it falls apart, it's your fault.
Absolutely.
If it goes right, it's the helps that did
Absolutely.
it.
Yep.
So,
That's the way it works. You know, I keep God first. When I'm dealing with those types of situations, I'm able to combat them because I always keep God first. I always keep my heart in a posture to serve. I have very good leaders at my church. They are very involved in my life. I am being discipled under their leadership to be able to love people to Christ. And so I keep that same attitude when I'm at work. I want to always love people to Jesus so that they can fall passionately in love with Him like I have. And so I understand that when people don't have the Holy Ghost, they are crazy at times. And I understand that. And so I go at it from that type of standpoint. I'll give you an example. I had a situation where one of my apartment complexes got new management. And one of the ladies that I'd had working there, she's been working there for years. But she also lived on the property. Now, she doesn't work for that property, so I can employ her. It doesn't matter that she lives there. But they didn't want her working there. And so they called a meeting with me and they said I was going to have to get someone else in there to work there. And she had just lost her son, so she had been off on bereavement. And I'm just like, oh my God, the kids there love her. And I was explaining to the new manager, I'm like, these kids love her. Like they look for her. Like our numbers have increased, you know, drastically increased because of her and the relationship that she has with the parents and the kids in the community. But I'm like, okay, nonetheless, I'm not going to risk losing the site because this is your property and I have to adhere to your rules. So my thing is, I'll find somewhere else to put her and I'll put someone else in her place. And so my staff, they said, well, I don't see how they can do that. And they were upset, and you should go and take it to their corporate office. And I said, listen, for
I
I
love
know the plans that I have for you. It's to give you a hope and a future and an expected end. The steps of the righteous are ordered by God, and the joy of the Lord is my strength. As long as I go in his presence, there's fullness of joy. If I take my troubles in his presence, I'm going to come out with his joy, and he now has my troubles. So there is nothing that he won't handle when it comes to me. And she's not there now as of 2 weeks ago.
it. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not happy about that,
Right,
but
right,
I
right.
can brag about the God that carries
That
and
God that
covers
took
me.
care of the
I
situation that
don't
I
have
didn't have
to
to put
fight
no
with people.
energy in.
I
Yes.
don't. So even when it comes to my staff, I operate from a place of grace because I often need grace. And I tell people, no matter what kind of day you're having, my grandmother always told me that if you can't show up and be loving and kind, then you need to stay home. And
Need to
so
stay
when
home.
you show up and you fake it till you make it. You understand what I'm saying? Because people don't deserve to do a prison sentence for due to your emotions. They should not be in prison to your emotions. That's not fair. So when I show up, I could not be feeling well. Things can be kind of all over the place, but I have a smile on my face and I treat people with love and kindness as much as I can. And when I get it wrong, I apologize. So it allows people to show me grace because I'm not too big to say I was wrong and I apologize just because you work for me. And then the other thing is every job that they do for me every day, I've done for me. So
Right.
when they need to be off, I've went in and I've worked for them. You know what I'm saying? And so I get a lot of respect because they know that I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I'm not just over here in charge and now at a place where I'm too good to do the work. No, I love the work and I'll come in and I'll help do the work. So because I operate from that place, I hold them to that same standard. And so that's how you do it.
That's how you
That's
do
how
it.
he
Yeah, we
that's
must
how
be
you do it.
cousins. We
We
bound to be
must be.
cousins. Some
That's the only way you can do it. Trying to do it any other way just does not work. It
it doesn't
creates
work.
bad relationships, drama, and turmoil, and it hurts people. And I don't want to damage people. I want to love people to Jesus, and I can't do that if I'm not compassionate and understanding.
Yeah. And I tell people sometimes the people around you want to
Yes,
fight for you,
yes,
because they shouldn't have
trust
done
me, I
that
know.
to you. They just, you this and you that. You go,
Yeah,
calm down. It's gonna
calm
be all
down.
right.
I got it.
God's
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
He is not gonna allow anybody to mistreat me. So
absolutely.
therefore, what they're doing is a training lesson for them. So
Yes,
when I tell people that leave our organization, they leave because they did something. They don't leave because we did something to them.
yeah,
And if you say I owe you $2 and I know I gave you the $2, I'm gonna give you $2 more because I'm
absolutely.
not gonna
That's
argue with
yeah,
you about it.
absolutely.
And sometimes when it gets to money and our people,
Mhm.
we get discombobulated.
Yes,
That doesn't happen here because I tell folks, listen, you can make money with me, but you can't make money off of me.
absolutely.
So you come in, let's put our heads together and see what
Yes,
we can do to build your company or to build whatever it is we're trying to do. But at the same time, you have to understand that what we're doing it for you because I
yes,
could be doing something else. Uh,
absolutely.
I could really, really be doing something else. So,
Yeah,
uh, and I try not to be the person that, oh, I'm this or I'm that. No, that's not me. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. You
yes,
know, I owned the Grandies because somebody died. We used to own some Dickie Boys restaurants. We called them my family owned, and they were billboard menus. Because my mom, I was raised in foster care. The people would say, what's in the refrigerator?" And they would decide their menu. They put that down. This is what we feeding the people today. We had fried chicken yesterday, and we had chicken left over, so we having chicken and gravy today.
yes,
So you tend to make things work because you are not going to let people step into your day. So
Absolutely.
I'm writing some things down because my engineer person is not here.
Yes.
Uh, but I did have your information. I saw it in the calendar. That's why I sent you a link over. There were a couple other people that I didn't get the link to, so I don't know what happened. But I'm glad that you and I had an opportunity to meet.
Yeah.
We're
Thank
homies,
you.
so when I get to
We
Dallas Fort
are.
Worth, I'm gonna look you up,
Come by the
and
kitchen. You know, if
come
it's a
by the
day,
kitchen.
Monday through Friday, come check us out. Come
Yeah,
see how we operate. I would love for you to come in. Being that you've been in the food industry, it would be, it'd be a fun
yeah, be a fun day.
field
Yeah,
trip for you to be
yeah,
able
yeah,
to come and
exactly.
see how we're maneuvering. We were given machines from a company that gives machines to nonprofits, and you just have to buy your equipment to package and seal your products from them. And that's in turn for them giving you the machines. And so we use those machines, our hot press machines, to be able to press our meals and hot seal them like TV dinners every day. And so we got a whole little process going on, and
I'm
so it's
interested in how
fun.
you. Yeah, I'm interested in how you feed the apartments if the kids are at school.
So
So
when
do
they
you
get out of school,
when they get out of school?
yes,
Okay,
we
so
feed them
you
after school.
So you have a after school food program. You go into the community center, whatever that is, at the
Hmm.
apartment building, and you
Hmm.
bring the food in, and the
Yep.
kids just come down, get whatever they is, get some food, and go back to their apartment, or just kind of do a fun and game thing. Yeah.
Sit and eat their food, hang out with their friends in the community. They sit and they eat their food on site. And we don't make them stay. We don't make them eat things that they don't like. We just have to serve them everything, all of the components that come with the meal. And so once we serve it to them, if they want to give it to their brother and he want to drink their milk, that's fine. We just have to. We can only account for meals that we actually served, and it has to be every component of those meals. And so most of them they enjoy coming down to those apartment offices. Some apartments give us an actual apartment, and then some of them give us their clubhouse area of their apartment. So you're talking, they have stoves, microwaves, refrigerators, so that we can store the milk when we bring it in every day. We can put the fruit in the refrigerator every day. We have our own storage and cabinets for our snacks and things like that that are non-perishable. Our forks, spoons, plates that keeps our stuff separate from theirs when they're, in the office utilizing that space on their lunch breaks and stuff like that.
All right,
Yeah, so they give us the full setup.
yeah, and that is good because I'm asking that because I'm thinking of some of the apartment complexes that are around where we service that we
Yes,
don't do that. We don't have a necessary after school program, or we don't do a lot of different things. And I'm always looking for an opportunity to be able to say, okay, we could add this to our program.
good.
Uh, we could figure out how to do this. We live in the Southern California region here.
Yes.
Homelessness, I know down in Dallas Fort Worth, it's probably just as bad. I see it, but it's really bad here. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the worst neighborhood you could find is $1,700, $1,800 a month.
I was
So,
just there in January. My cousin passed away, and
okay,
so we came to LA for the funeral. And so I hadn't been in probably 2 years, but it was, it was a time.
yeah, 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 yeah. And a couple of years ago, my son passed away, and it was kind of a surprise for us. And I
My
came back,
condolences to you.
and uh, uh, and he lived in Waxahachie.
Yes,
Uh, so we came down and did all of that, and um, it was different. Uh,
yes.
I'm in and out. I have a house over in Meadowbrook.
Oh,
Uh,
I know Meadowbrook. My family
yeah,
has a church um on England off of 20
okay, yeah,
in Forest Hill.
Forest Hills. Yeah,
Hmm.
okay, yeah. I probably know the folks.
Yeah.
I probably do.
Yeah, it's
Because
it's um it's Mount Zion, Christ Holy Sanctified Church, and it's right there off of England and
yeah,
20. Yes.
okay, yeah. I know I passed it a million
It's been
times.
there years. It's been there
Yeah,
for a
Saint
long time.
Stevenson's. You have a friend that has a church called Saint Stevens, and then I have some people that I guess they're under TD Jakes because they got the same name as his church,
Oh
Potter's
yeah.
House in Fort Worth. So I used to work the church community when I was trying to figure out what should I be doing, and I thought, well, you know what, I could preach, I could do this, and I could do that. I don't think I want to do that. Uh,
Yes.
so I'm just going to continue to serve and try to do the things that we need to do. So we're going to wrap up here because I know you got things going on, but I want to. So what we could do is, did you have a GoFundMe page, or do you do those kinds of things that we could support?
Yes. So you can go to the joshhowardfoundation.com. So it's the joshhowardfoundation.com. Let me just change this. Let me make sure the B is in front of it because a lot of times people do stuff for us. I think it might just be Josh Howard actually, because we just did some website updates and stuff like that. So if you go to joshhowardfoundation.com, if you go there, there is a donation link on our webpage where you can donate. Where those donations come straight to us.
Okay, all right. I wrote
Yes.
that down. We're gonna follow up and do some things in that area. So and when I get to Texas, I'll give you a shout out and come by and hang out for a minute and
Come
just
hang
kind of
out with
visit.
me.
And next
Yes.
time you come to California, I am only half an hour outside of Los Angeles.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
I'm in the San Bernardino Inland Empire area.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
and I run the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, and we have like 15 of these chapters that I oversee from Long Beach to Palm Springs to Barstow. So I travel a lot all around with small businesses. We've got close to 4,000 small businesses that are members of our organization. And when
That's
I'm in
amazing.
Fort Worth, I work with the Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce and then the Dallas Chamber of Commerce. We sit on the board in Washington, D.C. on the same boards and stuff together. So we're following each other around a lot. It's just that
Yes.
we haven't done the now we've done the face to face. It's like, okay, I gotta go see my sister over here and see what
Yes.
she's doing and just kind of support in every way I can and make sure that if you need to get some volunteers for some special events, we can promote it from here through our websites and through some of the other organizational things that we do in the Black and Brown community. We work with the Hispanic chambers of commerce and you know most of the mainstream chambers and those kinds of things. Convention and Tourism Bureau sends for me sometime to come to Dallas and help promote the different cities and stuff, things that they do
Okay.
down there in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Likewise. Thanks
So,
for having me.
yeah, and I just love it. So we are going to follow up. I have your information. I'll make sure that someone sends you our information so that
Yes.
we can connect. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for being a part of Strictly Business this morning. And you have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you later.
You as well.
One of the secrets to exposure for your business lies within supporting Black businesses and entrepreneurs. And that is why the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce is here, to connect Black businesses from the desert to the sea. Let's join hands to empower and sustain our community. By becoming a member of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, you can grow your business and increase your clientele. With our innovation, we'll generate new businesses and get new customers. And we'll connect new mindsets with businesses from across Southern California to help bridge the wealth gap. Let's connect, build, and grow together. Join us now at blackchamberofcommerce.org.
Good news for the Southern California business community. Now you can add your business to the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce Business Directory complimentary. We have been working tirelessly to build a list of Black-owned enterprises in Southern California. This is an excellent way for you to be a part of an expansive network and find your ideal customers, business partners, and vendors. So don't waste time. Visit blackchamberofcommerce.org today and add your business today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Wallace, and I'd like to invite you to be a part of the 30-year anniversary celebration of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce. That's right, it's our anniversary, and we have a present for you. Sponsor any chamber event in 2023, and you will not only be sponsoring that one event, but your message will be prominently displayed at all of our chapter events from the desert to the sea. Wow, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get your
Business owners are raving about the new talk show, Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace. Tune in as the top experts in business share their success stories, strategies, guidance, and advice to help you grow your business. With guests from the top companies to your favorite influencers, Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace is the show to watch for all things business. Our conversations are strictly business. We discuss new funding options, new business initiatives, best business practices, all things business explained. We provide you with the tips you need for your business, all in one morning business talk show. Be sure to tune in. Are you a business owner? Do you have a story to share? Are you able to help our audience? Then we want you on Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace. Visit the website at edgetvnetwork.net and select Be a Guest to schedule your appearance today.
We're done.